So you began as a sculptor, but you are you don't restrict yourself to that
Right.
to that moniker.
I'm a conceptual artist, so the work is not media specific, and there's an interplay through sculpture across 2D and video and photo as well, and it's sort of an interesting process how like the concepts can start as like line drawings and then scale up into various 3D pieces, and I do a lot of work that starts digitally or becomes digital at some point. So if it's like a vector graphic, it can be easily scaled into any size and media and cut with various tools like laser cutting and water jet. And
Are you interested in exploring sort of media in society and how we use it, how it dominates us, how it's sort of a kind of an obsession?
It's definitely one of the three central things in my work, discussing kind of the media boom in the last 10 years and distributed media tools as well, like communication tools, and I have a suite of work that's about e-commerce, and I have another process that's basically outlining how digital media changes the way artwork can be conceived, distributed, and produced.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been using that as a kind of strategy for developing new work, and it's not just production, it's really throughout the whole process of kind of developing ideas, having them critiqued and informed, and then editioned or just developed and tried out in different media until I find that kind of the right fit. For instance, like I did a print which was it started out as a digital layout, which is about the etymology of the word capitalism, and then as we developed the piece in the studio, Lindsay Brooke Richmond's my studio director, and we have a lot of discussions about the work. So there's a nice kind of collaborative element that happens in the studio as well, and so we came up with making this hide, and then I ended up making a sculpture out of these steel cutout letters that became the brand to produce the hide. So it went from a print to a floor piece with the means of production becoming a sculpture.
Is that the piece you had at the Armory show?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And
that I called a rug.
The rug.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a.
I'm sorry.
It's a rug from a cowhide. It's a calf skin actually,
Okay.
but a big calf.
Okay.
A full. It's a teenager calf, maybe somewhere in the middle.
Well, what were you trying to say with that?
Well, that's
is that some comment on luxury, or
it's actually just a comment on kind of the progression of society since we domesticated animals. Like the initial dot of the picture. I don't know if I should flip through to the image.
So from fur trapping to fur trapping. We haven't gone very
right.
far.
Yeah. Let's see. It may not even be in the stack. Yeah, it's in the next chapter. Maybe we can go around to the studio later and take a look at it. So, well, it starts out with a dot, which is sort of like, I don't know, Genesis or something, and then it has cow, which is followed by the word cattle, and then capital, and chattel first, and then capital, which is basically like just kind of outlining how when the cow was used for a family or sort of personal use, that was one thing, and then when there's a stock of more cows, it's just starts to involve trade. When it's a listable object or thing, it's sort of leading towards a larger sense of commerce, and then it's abstracted into capital within the economic system of capitalism. And then there's an ellipsis at the end, which basically posits like, after modernism, we're thinking about the world in a different way. So there's sort of like a less industrial take on the world, and with trends towards sustainability, fair trade, and organic or less pollutive kind of means of production. It suggests that we're already headed to a different version of the system that we know. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of some sort of maybe post-capitalism situation. Mm-hmm. So without being didactic or suggesting anything in particular, it just kind of outlines that we've been on this long trajectory and we're on the cusp of something kind of new and interesting again, which is in a way facilitated by the kind of technology and developments at the turn of the millennium, which my work is kind of about, the turn of the millennium and the massive change.
And the same way, say, Kafka or Max Beckmann or many artists responded to the Industrial Revolution and displacement of man by machine,
Sure. Like the piece behind us, for instance, it's sort of related to the work of Louise Nevelson, which is one of my favorite artists growing up. She worked with off pieces and discards from the industrial era of turned wood production, wood crates, shipping crates. So the kind of basically the
detritus of
of that era, and this is basically the kind of parallel to the electronic age.
Right, where everything comes in boxes with styrofoam packing.
Right, yeah, and these are it's furthermore are the electronics. So as opposed to the spinning wheels of technology or the looms.
And there is a great beauty to these. I mean, especially when you see them assembled.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think most people, rip them out and get to their MacBook or whatever, and they don't bother to look at. I mean, it's just stuff that you're going to throw out. But I mean,
Right.
you've turned them inside out, literally, and then put them together in a kind of collage to make sense out of them and also to make beauty out of them.
Yeah,
It's really stunning.
Oh, thank you. I find them really beautiful. I think, they're Mac, for instance, made a big effort to actually design their packaging, from object to its housing and the styrofoam, top to bottom. But and this is all electronics, packaging of various sorts, and there's a wide range of vocabulary in there. It's also sort of like it is sort of like a ghost of modern thinking. Like the Apple packaging is already, well postmodern, well beyond this type of vocabulary of rounded edges. Or this is more boxy than what we're seeing now.
How has it changed?
I mean, just here's the beginning of the change in a way that the corners are being rounded, or that there's room for crush zone or another material, so that it's the engineering tests. They realize that things like that reduce the amount of material also have other properties of creating impact absorption and things like that. I mean,